an aspirin in there. And this is the needle that I was telling you about for the decompression of the chest. And basically this is, it can be used also for airway. So I crack a lot, but it's not really a full crack. We won't talk too much about that, but that could be used for airway, well, more for breathing, for oxygenating some people, as well as it could be used for, but mostly the reason that it's in there is for the compression of the chest. And on this matter, there's two different kind of needles, and we'll show this one. And the studies have shown, so this one is the recognized one by the they're recognizing by kind of a trauma combat people, and the difference is that it is 3 and 25 inch. This one, the longest that it has is 1 and 1/4 inch. And so basically, as you can see, they're kind of a little bit different over here. You can have like longer ones, but the thing is, sometimes that what happens is that people will use IVs like this to decompress chest. Two things that happens is that, first of all, this thing here, if you're pretty muscular or if you have a lot of fatty tissue, what happens is that they will collapse the tubing over here, and basically people won't be able to, it won't do its job. Basically the air won't be able to come out, and then you'll have to place another one, versus those ones are specially made for that. Second of all too is that sometimes the needles, and obviously this one is too short, but sometimes the needles will be too short, and there's a lot of studies out there that have been showing that what happened is that you think you're not especially with people with a lot of muscular, so very muscular or very obese. What happened is that when you put that needle in, it doesn't get into the place where you need to have them, and what happened is that you don't decompress the chest. So basically, it's useless. So the reason that I use those ones, that is the main reason, is for that that purpose of being able to use this. And like I said, I can use it for different purpose as well, but we won't get too much into that, so it's a bit advanced life support that. It would be for oxygenation, so I could use it for the breathing part, for certain case of things like this. The other thing that I have as well, so we were talking about CPR, so I have that for the CPR. Anaphylactics, I got, well, this one is not the EpiPen, this one is the Twinjet. We'll have probably a video on the difference between the EpiPen and the Twinjet, but in the wilderness, Twinjet is better than only one EpiPen, because twins means there's 2 shots, so there's 2 shots of it in it. And what I'm going to try to get is get my hands on a demonstrator, because there's things to teach people how to use those, and probably we'll do a video on the difference, and I'll have one with the Twinjet and one with the EpiPen, and explain to you why. But as long as you have one, that's the most important thing. As long as you have some EpiPen of some sort. So either like this, this is the Twinjet again. So the Twinjet, and I'll be careful, I don't want to. So this is the Twinjet. Some other people will have the EpiPen. They work pretty much the same. It's just that this one have a second dose in it. Don't forget also that if you make a kit like this and you have kids, or if you have younger kids, or you're suspected to be in contact with younger kids, this is for adults, because the needles, the way it goes and everything, and the dose in it is for adults. There's one for pediatric, so have the one for pediatric in your first aid kit. Yeah, so the Twinjet versus the EpiPen, and again I'll have a demonstration of it, and this is for the administration. For the asthma part, Basically what I got here, so those things we basically throw because we use like sometimes just so basically those are the nebulizers. So a little bit, it looks like a big cigarette. So you put like a little machine in there, and we throw some oxygen, and we put a Ventolin or Atrovent into little containers, and basically it bubbles it up, nebulize it, make a little fume of it, and people just breathe it. And those things sometimes we don't use because a lot of time people are so short of breath that they cannot breathe, so we put like a mask to it. The we always recommend to take people to have what they call an air chamber, but the air chambers are very big. They look a little bit like a little bit smaller maybe, but maybe like a 1 liter bottle of Coke. They're pretty big, because depending on which one you have and stuff. So basically what this does is it basically replace the aero chamber. The medication won't accumulate around there, and basically what you would have, so the little shaker that they take, you would put that in the back over here. They would put this in their mouth, and then you would shoot the fume, and they would take over here. And why is it asthma in there? Because the problem with asthma is that if you don't treat it very rapidly, you're gonna get into trouble where you're probably going to need intubations and stuff. And so that's why it is more in the first state. It can be treated, but it has to be treated very rapidly and very aggressively, because if you don't, you may end up that you need, and you do not want to get into there, because those are nasty problems. And we'll talk maybe a little bit more about when we talk more about airways and airway management, but we don't want to stop. So that's why we want those and stuff. Again, little lights for the visibility, to check like the pupils and everything. And the reason that we have visibility over here, so it's mostly if you have like a big head blunt or a head injury or something like this, and you want to be sure that you're all good. Another thing for bleeds, and again, it's not to, like, if you're bleeding from your neck or whatever, it's not to so much clamp stuff, but you can do some control, or you can compress a dressing with this and squeeze it. It's called hemostats. Basically what they are is that they look like a pair of scissors, but they're not sharp over here. They're like little clamps, and over the here they have like a little thing that holds, and basically, see, I don't know if you heard the click there. So all this is a click, and basically what it does is that every time that I push it in, it holds it in place. And so those things can become useful for mostly bleeds, but sometimes for burns as well and things. And as well, I have a pair of scissors of some kind of things to expose and everything. And now, like, looking at my kit, and again, this is my first aid kit, so it kind of, there's different things at different place. But based on just our talk, like right now, what I'm going to add to this is one of those Adventure Medical Kit blanket. And the advantage with the blanket, the orange and the Mylar one, is that it can be used for boat exposure. How? Well, if they're cold, then you can put the Mylar towards them so they can reflect their temperature. But don't forget, they have to be shivering. Because until proven otherwise, if they're not shivering, they're below the 35 degrees Celsius that you can have to produce your heat. Because when you stop shivering, usually means that you cannot produce your own heat. So if you put something on them, all it's going to keep up is probably the cold air, because they cannot produce any heat anymore. And so basically you're going to entrap cold air with them, and you're going to get them colder. So basically what you want to do is use the Mylar on somebody. So if somebody is shivering and everything, and it's getting close to very severe hypothermia, so then you would put the Mylar on the side. If you have hyperthermia, so that means that you have a high temperature, now you can use the Mylar side towards the sun, and you can create a little bit of shades reflecting the light away. Obviously, that's not much shade, but it's better than nothing, and you would create a certain piece of shade over there, and then by using water and everything and cooling the people, you would probably be able to do some sorts of refreshing over there, and that would be part of your first aid kit. So I'll probably gonna add this to this kit again so that I can get the adventures, and also I have little cyanims, so that means that if I have to, and those little ones, that's the advantage of them instead of the big ones, is that if it's during the night or something like this, break this, shake that, and throw it, and now I have an environment that I can work and stuff like this. So basically this is self-contained. So the advantage is that if I have somebody that is very sick, so again, this is part of my first aid kit when I'm doing wilderness, but if somebody is injured or something like this, I have to do more of the first aid part of it. So that means that I can take this kit, go to them, or like, you know, put this in my cargo pants or something like this and again go out, and I don't have to open the whole first aid kit and everything like this. And usually this I keep that above in my backpack, but in self-reliance you can keep that closer to the door, or again any place that you can take that something can happen, and it can be separate. And again, because it's a self-contained, crush-proof, water-resistant, water-floating device and stuff like this, you can put those little kits a little bit all above, but things like that. Obviously would become a little bit expensive, because like just an EpiPen like this, well, the Twin Jet cost me like $100, so they can become a little bit expensive. But if you do like a few kits like this, then you can put them all around and stuff like this. So for example, have a burn kit near if you have a generator or anything that could have high possibility of having fuel or burns, exposure, things like that, then you put your burn kit near that, and so that if something happened, you just grab that kit and you go towards it. So this is hopefully will help you. That would be like the first part of the first aid, and again, I'm not talking about first aid and everything. It was just a little bit my thoughts on how the A, B, C, D, E can kind of help and kind of put it in your head of like, oh yeah, things that I need to look at in front like this, and what I need to do as a first aid kit. And on the next videos, we'll start talking more about the branch of the ethics and the thinking about it and stuff like this. And so we'll go down that branch. Talk to you soon.